Okay, Mario, once again with MIA Microflight. Real quick, I did a quick sketch of this go-kart that I've been working on, just to give the viewers an idea of what kind of costs can be involved in making a similar uh, hover kart frame. And I'm calling it the hover kart frame because I am using a hoverboard components here, not so much the hoverboard as a complete unit. So this is not no longer an attachment, but a full go kart. With full control, full regular steering for the front end, and it's going to have the wheels that are going to be the go kart wheels separate, and this will probably have the separate controllers for bicycle, electric bike, or electric scooter controllers. To drive these 360 watt motors that are going to be the drive system here. So this is the frame from EMT tubing along with maker pipe connectors. So if we're looking at the frame, this frame has, and I kept it very simple here. I decided not to do any bends here as I did before because it is a low profile go-kart with the 10-inch wheels, so it's still low profile, so there's no need for bending. Just keeps it very simple that way. So what we have here is 248 sections here, 48 inch sections that make up this main section here, the main set, the center of the go-kart. And then we have some 6-inch sections at the front and at the back that are the extenders here into these bumpers, rear and front bumpers, or front and tail guards. Then we have these cross tubes here for the front end steering, and a rear cross bar there for the rear wheels. We have a rear back support. We have a seat bottom support here, cross beam there, or across the bar. And then we have two angle bars right here that hold the steering wheel column. All those pieces, as I am showing here in this video, or in this layout here, we're talking about 48 inches. 48 inches. These diagonals here that hold the steering wheel are 12 inches. Then we have 6 inches here. These tubes that make up the steering bar. We have a 20-inch bar right here at the front, 24-inch bar at the back, 18-inch bar at the back here for the bumper, 18-inch bar for the front bumper, 6-inch for these couplers here, and 24 inches, actually 36 inch for the for this backrest that's folded or bent, with a 6-inch radius. 24-inch bar right here for the rear wheels, and this right here is 24 inches for the steering shaft. So all those pieces together came up to about 25 feet with a 5-foot spare section from 3 10-foot sections of EMT tubing. Each one of these EMT tubings costs $10, so 3 of them is total $30. Then we have the connectors here. I have 180-degree connectors, 4 of these, which are 1, 2, 3, and 4 of them at about $5 a piece, so that's $20. Then we have these T connectors here. I have 10 of those. T connectors are for to make up these ends here for the spindles. There's 2 of them there. There's 2 of them here, so that's 4. There's 1 here, that's 5. There's another one here that makes up the arm for the steering link. 6. There's 2 here that makes 8, and 2 additional ones at the back. That's a total of 10 at $3.34 each. It's about $33. Then we have 5 of these swivel connectors. There are 2 right here that are attached to these diagonals that support the steering shaft, and there are 2 that support the back rests or the backrest. So that's a total of 4, and there's 1 right here at this junction here where these diagonals hold the steering column. So that's a total of 5. Those are a little bit expensive, $7.49 each, total of $40 for those 5. So if we were to add all those components, we're talking about $125 just for the frame. As I have just explained, there's no need for hardware for these components, because these connectors, make your pipe connectors, do come with their own locking hardware, a hex nut, machine bolt, and the nut that clamps these connectors in place. The other hardware that I'm not showing here costs is miscellaneous hardware. Like I put this 7/16 bolt and 7/16 nut that I'm using to do the pivot point. The pivot point at this connector right here. And if you care to see how I am doing this, go check out my other videos that talk about this particular project. Part 4A and 4B, I'm showing how I'm doing these things, and part 5 as well. So, and I'm not showing the brackets, so there's a cost that needs to be incurred for these brackets here. This is just angle iron or angle steel that is cut and pieced together and welded, to make up these C bracket spindles for the sides. There's hardware that's associated with that, specific hardware. I'm not sure. This bolt right here is 5/8, the one that makes the spindle for the front wheel. That has to be welded there. So I'm not showing those details there. I'm just showing this is just for the frame alone. It's $125, for the frame. Which is not bad, because if you were to buy a go-kart, the frame alone is going to cost you about $400. A welded frame, or if you have to weld, the parts, it's a lot more work. With this setup right here, if you get tired of the setup, you can simply disconnect all these joints right here, and do something else, with those parts that you disconnected. So you're not locked to any specific geometry here, which is great. This is the reason why I do these things with EMT tubing and maker pipe connectors. Otherwise, I'd be welding, go-karts, if I wanted a more permanent setup. Not that I'm going to be disconnecting this anytime soon. Once I do this, it's probably going to remain there, and for as long as I use the Kart. I rather just keep it as is, because when I make these things, they're set. I don't disassemble them. But I'm just saying, if you were to get tired of this, you could do that, disconnect it, and build something from there. For me, it's a lot easier just to go buy some more pipe. The EMT tubing is not bad. It's about $1 per foot if you want to consider, the 10-foot section at about $9.90, I think it is, plus tax. That's about $1 per foot, which is not bad for EMT tubing. Where it gets a little hefty in price is these connectors, maker pipe connectors, when you start doing things with the swivels like this. But this connector is an awesome connector because you can put any angle there, So you got to consider that too, how easy these connectors are to set up. So for a connector, at that price, it balances out, with that consideration. As I was pointing the extra hardware, there are no wheels here. There are no cost for wheels. So if you add the wheels, if you add, the hoverboard, you can get, for dirt cheap. If you look around, you can probably pick one of those. I pick one up, a real good one for $10. But I got lucky with the seller, and you can probably find something similar for about, I would say about $25. So add another $25 for the hoverboard, and then you just disassemble that, remove the wheels to which you use that. You're going to need to weld some brackets here to support those blocks that clamp the axles of the motor, the hoverboard motor wheels. Um, so there's a little more, welding involved, a little more work in that respect, but you're not welding the whole thing, So this goes pretty fast once you cut this with just a regular pipe cutter, that you can buy for $10-15. I use an old pipe cutter that I had, and that cuts just fine. You just got to be careful that when you cut, the tubing is the cut is perpendicular in line with itself, so that you don't get double lines in the cut or weird cut. But that goes easy. Or if you have a chop saw, with an abrasive blade, you can cut that really easy. They just in a matter of minutes. So cutting is easy. EMT is not that expensive. The connectors are great connectors. And once you're done with this frame, then you can start adding the wheels, the front section, the linkages, to this section here. As I am showing in my other videos, and that's the purpose I've been doing these videos on a daily basis, kind of showing the progress, the work work as I do these things, and any modifications, any simplification. This is completely simplified to the simplest way that you can do this while maintaining the typical go-kart architecture here. That is going to work for many types of people here. This can work for a young person. This is not so much for kids. That's why I'm not pointing kids here. I'm not even mentioning this is for kids. This is for a young adult or an adult. The way that the dimensions that I'm using here as well. So I'm 5'11", as I've said in other videos. But this can very well work for somebody that's 6 feet and maybe a little bit taller. With little customization here in the lengths of these pipes right here, or tubes, you can extend this a little further and kind of make it work to your height if you're a lot taller than 5'11". So the wheels, you can get those wheels from Harbor Freight, or go on Amazon and buy a set of 4 of them. And that'll be a lot cheaper. You won't need all 4 of them, because the rear wheels are driven by the hoverboard wheels. I have a video on how to modify those wheels to insert a larger tire. That it's a tubeless tire, not tubeless, but it's not a pneumatic tire, but a PU tire. It's a polyurethane wheel that you can cut the inside with a circular saw and just slip it over the hub of the hoverboard motor, and that makes up for the 10-inch diameter to match the front wheels. That if you get 10-inch diameter wheels, so you can get those fairly inexpensive. The hardest thing here would be to the electronics as well. You can buy those electronic controllers for bikes. They're about $20-$25. I've seen some even for $15. When with coupons. So they're not really bad. And that simplifies. You could use the electronics of the hoverboard itself if you modify that. Some people modify the firmware. I just don't like getting into writing code and for modifying the firmware. It's a lot to. It's a lot to deal with, and you have to download programs, to do that. So it's a lot easier just to go buy, a $20-$25 electric bike controller and just separate the motors and just connect, the 3-phase wires that are for motor and the Hall sensor, which is a 5-pin 5-wire connector, and those controllers come already set for that. Those types of connections, and things get assembled a lot easier that way, and it just simplifies things. But once again, the hardest point is to welding these brackets here. If you watch my videos, I show you how I did this. Watch those videos how I do this. This right here, because this is This is designed to fit over these maker pipe connectors. Maker pipe connectors have a height of 1.3 inches in height, and so this right here, I make these out of 1.5 angle steel or angle iron, and then so you have a 1.5 spacing that is a C bracket that fits over these maker pipe connectors. And since these connectors are, they have an inside diameter of about an inch, um, a little bit tighter, they clamp onto the 3/4 inch EMT tubing, which is right here. So I cut little sections of EMT tubing to fit inside these. And then I cut and machine some Delrin inserts with a hole, inside hole diameter to take up the bolt that clamps that, which I use 5/16 8-18 bolts here, hex bolts, to do this. And so that's what I'm showing right here. And of course you have a nylon lock nut, or you have to use a lock washer and a nut, to do this. But it's I don't use like in this setup right here. It's better to use a nylock nut here, because you can adjust that just enough to allow this to pivot freely, and you're not really tightening the whole thing as you would, with a lock washer. So that's how I do these things. The linkages, they're going to be about another these tie rods rather. They can range in price from $10 on up. So that's another little expense there. So but like I said, this is mainly about the frame of the go-kart. What you can expect to spend on something like this, and the type of connectors. Really simple, real easy. And I think this is where I'm going to lead this this project and video. Stay tuned for the other videos. I painted all these parts. I've been painting in the past few days, and so another day I think I'm going to leave these parts, to fully cure. I should leave them about a week, and it takes about a week, for paint to fully cure to the point where you can use it and without risking scratching it or having the paint removed easily. But those parts are already painted, and so it's going to be a really spiffy, simple, easy to assemble, and not very expensive, go-kart. So stay tuned for the rest of those videos. I will be doing more as I reassemble this again and make everything come together again. Mario with MIA Microflight. Stay tuned for more.